Hi, it's the Mike Rogers Show. Mike Rogers here with you, and today's special guest, is so incredible, so secret that we are here inside his Führer bunker, and underneath his studio. Above us is Tokyo, and here is the studio for the one, the only, Kenneth Andrew. Kenneth, can you thanks so much for doing this interview for us today. I really appreciate it. It's really great. I feel like I'm sitting here talking to David Bowie, and I'd like to know. Well, first off, can you introduce yourself to us?
My name is Kenneth Andrew with Kenneth Andrew and the Oddities. It's great to be here.
And what year did you come to Japan, and why did you come to Japan?
Originally, I came to Japan in 1992. Mm-hmm. I was brought here by Shake. He's famous from Rebecca and Warriors. Mm-hmm. And I came here to sing with him, and that was my introduction to Japanese culture.
Oh, were you really surprised when you first came to Japan?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah? What surprised you the most?
The tomato. That was the thing. I tasted a tomato, and I thought there could never be a tomato better anywhere in the world than in America, where I grew up with farmers and where I grew up in. I grew up thinking that we had the best of everything, and then I saw a little green-looking tomato, and I took one bite, and it tasted like 1,000 tomatoes, and that was the culture shock.
So where are you from in America?
I'm from Miami, Florida.
And of course you've been to England before, right?
Yes, we have. Mm-hmm.
So when did you go to England?
Well, I guess I don't know. It's probably been about 15 years, or before our son was born. So yeah, more than 20 years ago.
Wow. So
that was interesting too, because we went with the Koto ensemble, and it was a Japanese cultural exchange event. So it was pretty crazy.
You went with a Koto
ensemble, yeah, as a percussionist.
Uh-huh. Oh, so you not only do you sing? Wait a minute! All these instruments, you sing, you play, you perform, you do everything?
I tool around on it. I used to be a drummer before I was a singer, so. But I don't do much drumming anymore. I work with such great musicians. I really don't need to do it myself.
Yeah. So you're doing Kenneth Andrews and the Oddities.
Kenneth Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, Kenneth Andrew and the Oddities. Tell us about that.
Well, it started off as, just some Bowie fans getting together, and I happened to know a handful of really terrific musicians. Mm-hmm. And I asked around a while, and there weren't a lot of takers, but interestingly enough, the people that did finally say yes were some of the best players I knew. So I was really lucky in that perspective. It was amazing for me to be able to get those people together. That's Naoko Yamada, Katsumi Kashiwabara, Tadashi Ito, Harunobu Okubo, all super fine players. So the ability to get those guys was the key.
Are they studio musicians, or do they play in other bands, or what do they do?
Oh yeah, well how it is in Tokyo. Everybody's in a bunch of different bands, and I met Naoko when I played with Ian Pace from Deep Purple at Zepp Tokyo a few years back.
Wow! So I heard that you've played at Budokan, Zepp Tokyo, Hibiya, Yaon, and you've played at Fuji Rock. That's basically covering all the big bases, isn't it?
Yeah, that was, yeah. Well, we still have Tokyo Dome.
Oh, are you going to play Tokyo?
Well, we'll need to sell a few more tickets, but yeah, someday.
Yeah, Tokyo Dome. I saw David Bowie at the Tokyo Dome in 1990, and it sounded like an airplane hangar. We were in an airplane because it was just echoing, and I was in the 8th row. It was just really echoing and really loud, and I kind of thought, I'm not coming to hear it.
You know, sometimes the first few rows aren't always the best sound.
Mm.
You know, and well, in these days now they can make it sound great. It's amazing with the technology they have now. I couldn't believe how great, you know, sometimes some of the shows I go to sound like. It could be an airline hangar and still sound great.
Really?
With what they're doing these days. Yeah.
So the concerts I pick are bad.
Oh no, well that was a while back. I mean, technology moves fast. You know, now they have all these modelers and everything else. They make the sound fit the room.
So tell us about when you played Nippon Budokan the first time. What was that band?
That was Casino Drive with Shake, who brought me over from Los Angeles at the time.
Wow.
That was my first or second trip to Japan. It was the first time I'd seen snow, I think. It was the first earthquake I'd ever experienced, and I got to play at Budokan.
Wow.
My first trip to Japan. Yeah. All thanks to Shake.
How did you meet Shake?
Well, I moved out to LA, you know, to try to make it as a singer,
Right.
and he was probably the first or second ad that I found in the newspaper looking for a vocalist at the time. So
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you found him in
fast.
a newspaper?
Yeah, it happened that fast. Yeah, they were looking for, you know, I guess somebody who fit my description, and that's how I met up with them.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. It really is. It all happened so fast. You know, it all ended so fast too, but it was a great experience.
So then after that, then did you go back to the States, or you stayed here for a while, or what did you do?
Well, you know, when that whole thing, you know, started to fizzle out, I moved back. I tried a lot of different things. You know, I started a company, and I got married, and I had kids, and you know, and many years passed. You know, and I tried lots of different things, and you know, I kind of played a little bit of music on and off during that time. But at one point, there was you know, I had that opportunity. I had an opportunity to come and start a business in Japan. So we came and we opened up KRH Studios in Harajuku, and I did that for 10 years. And you know, and over a course of, you know, 10 years or so, I started to discover that I was, you know, a lot happier, I guess, in front of the audience, you know, and instead of behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
So I started singing again, and I got a call from some of my old colleagues, and they wanted to do some things, and we got together, and I've been doing concerts and things since then.
Well, that story of answering a newspaper ad and getting a job. I've heard this sort of story, and all I can think is, oh man, you must be touched by God to have such good luck and such a chance. Just, I mean, how many people get that chance?
Guardian angels and all that. I believe in all of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, totally. So do I.
And you know, because there's too many bizarre coincidences, you know, and the timing is always crazy too. You know, and it's also a gift that, you know, sometimes you might think, well, I wanted to be bigger, or I wanted to do more, or I wanted to, you know, sell a platinum record, or, you know, but, you know, sometimes it's a gift not to have those things too. You know, and we don't realize it at the time. But so, you know, a friend of mine recently asked me, he says, you know, are you satisfied with your life? Are you, you know, what are you really hungry for? And I had to sit there for a long time and think, because, you know, I think it's been pretty good. You know, I don't think I'd change much if I had the opportunity.
Wow, that's really cool.
Put them on your rebel, it's on your dress. Rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, how could they know? Ha, tramp, I love you so.
We're back to the Mike Rogers Show, sitting here with Kenneth Andrews, and he was just telling us about his guardian angels, and I want to ask him about that because I find that such a fascinating story. So most people, I think in Japan, most people would not or do not believe, or I don't know if I would call it guardian angels or would call it grace, or or just being lucky, in the right place at the right time. Can you explain what that is to us? Like, what is your guardian angel? Who is your guardian angel?
Well, I think it's different for everybody, and and certainly in Japan, there is, people do rely on their ancestors for guidance and advice, and I do the same. I have people that are no longer with us from my family that I sometimes count on. I have friends that I've lost over the years that sometimes I'll, sort of talk to and for advice or guidance when things are challenging, and there's also that that, like you mentioned, grace, and it's just sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you feel a lot of gratitude, and I think a lot of that is just some of the effort is your own, and somebody is also sort of paving the way for you.
Yeah, that's really deep.
I didn't want to get that deep.
No, but that's.
But what you said
so
about
cool.
helping other people,
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of the key, isn't it? It's like loving your fellow man, and
Yeah.
then and then when you find a way to be of service, and and you do it sincerely, then all kinds of interesting things start to happen, right?
Yeah. So when you're on stage, let's say you're on stage, you're at a theater, and it's full of people, and do you have some kind of, like, what do you call it, meditation or something like that before you go on stage? Do you pray, or that you go on stage and you pick one person in the audience? I'm singing to that person, and to bring the whole thing out, or do you do things like that?
Well, I should, but I don't always. I'm more of like a foxhole prayer. When things are really tough, that's when I buckle down and say, God, please help me. Otherwise, I do tend to just rely on the people around me to help me through, and sort of pick up the slack. If I start to lose focus, or I sort of let the team carry me along. Or the audience.
Yeah, I saw you one time. I don't even remember when it was, but I really thought, what song was it? I can't remember, but you were with your band and playing, and you guys, for a few moments, I thought, oh, this is really magical. They're really, really in a groove. And I kind of thought, are you guys ad-libbing the song? And I mean that as a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Does that happen a lot, or were you just like feeling it with the band totally together?
It happens, but you need to add an element of danger, really, for that to blossom, or for that to take place. So what we try to do is instead of playing like the record, what we'll do is we might pick a live arrangement, and then if I feel a certain amount of inspiration somewhere within that context, then I'll say something. Hey, why don't we leave 16 bars open, 32 bars open, and then just jam and see what happens.
Oh.
Or throw in some interesting breakdown that maybe Bowie wouldn't have done, but could have done.
Oh, I see.
And I think a lot of times that's where that energy starts to come in. But it's risky, right? And it's a little bit dangerous. And that's when the band gets really focused. And that's when we usually find our pocket.
Yeah. So you're doing Kenneth Andrews and the Oddities. Do you do any other bands? No?
There's some other projects that I'm in. I can't always talk about, believe me, when the announcements are ready, you'll be the first to know. But there are things I'm working on.
Well, that's cool. So, and original music?
Well, I still play with Casino Drive sometimes.
Oh,
and we just
really?
Shows, and who knows? We might do another batch of shows anytime now.
What year was that Budokan show with Casino Drive? What year was that?
1992.
Because Rebecca used to come on a TV show that I was a producer of. Actually 3 or 4 times. But I mean, I was like always way in the back and never. So I remember foreign guys or a foreigner coming. I wonder if that was you. Have you been to what's that station called? Music on TV. Music on TV. Are you a Sony related?
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Yeah.
the channel, but I have never done any work with them. I have with Space Shower TV back in the day. But yeah, I've met a few of those people in the music business and
oh, they all hate me. They all hate me.
Gene Genie lives on his back. Gene Genie loves trimming his stacks. He's outrageous, he screams when he falls. Gene Genie lets himself go.
You've done a lot of commercial TV spots.
I have not done a lot of commercial TV spots. I've done a handful of spots.
Okay, well that's a lot. That's a lot.
I've never done one that's been picked up and actually aired. So I've
Really?
done things that have been demos for other artists. I've done things where I got really close and at the last minute they picked another voice. But and I've done a handful of things, yes.
So close yet so far away.
Yeah, I really wanted to hear my own voice on TV, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, well, TV doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, we don't watch much TV here these days either.
I don't
Too
even,
much YouTube.
Yeah, oh, that's good. That's good. But I don't even own a TV. I haven't watched TV in 25 years. There seems to be a boom, an explosion of tribute bands now. I have a friend from Australia, and he told me that in Perth, there used to be a lot of underground indies clubs, but now at all the clubs is a tribute band every weekend. So what do you think about that?
Well, you know, I think there's still a lot of great indie bands, and I'm sure you know that there's an incredible amount of fresh music out there. The tribute band phenomena is baffling to me too. I think the only explanation that I can only speak for myself and say that I'm a fan and I'll always be a Bowie fan. So for me, that's just an extension of being a fan and an opportunity to hang out with more Bowie fans. So, you know, to me, it's a community, and there's really not much separation between the audience and the people on stage. We're all there celebrating David Bowie.
Yeah.
The music, the artistry, there's a lot, you know, there's such a huge body of work there and so many different interpretations that it's like a never-ending learning experience.
So Kenneth, how did you first get into get the idea that I'm going to do Kenneth Andrews and the Oddities? How did that happen?
Well, that was baffling to me, honestly, because I've never seen you do a tribute band before. So I just felt gratitude. You know, I thought, wow, Mike is interested. He's come to a couple of shows. He's really friendly and shares some of our promotions on YouTube and Facebook. And I just felt appreciative.
Wait a minute. I do share your stuff on Facebook, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
So, but I mean, how old were you when this band started?
I guess I was late 50s.
Are you kidding me? Wow. So
it's been a while. I can't believe how long we've been together. It's probably one of the longest times I've ever been in the same band.
Wow.
2017.
So we started in 2017.
Oh, so do you want this band to become like the legendary Bowie? Is it a cover band or a tribute band?
Oh, the short answer is no. You know, there's other tributes that are doing a very fine job, and I often, you know, one of the first things I discovered when we started this, and when I said yes to the idea, was I thought it would be a lot easier.
No way. It's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you know, he made it all look so easy.
Yeah. So when I was a young man, I was in a kind of a famous punk band, and we were like one-hit wonders, and I really thought, oh, I'm going to be the next David Bowie. Anyway.
You know, there's a lot of next David Bowies, and if you see them, you know, as a seasoned entertainer or a seasoned fan, you'll start to realize, wow, they were all copying Bowie, but nobody came close.
Yeah.
You know, you had a lot of great artists.
But we would have rehearsal, and we would do like, I mean, we were a punk band. So let's kind of cover this David Bowie song, and we would play it, and we would just play it once because it's too hard. It's too difficult to even come close.
It sounds easy, right?
Yeah.
And then it's all of a sudden, then you find out that he adds one beat to the seventh measure of the 16th bar, and you're like, oh my God, please.
So, yeah, it's just amazing. So, do you have, Kenneth? Do you have any recordings or CDs or something? I don't need the CDs, but send me data that I can play on the radio and promote your show. Promote your show, promote your band.
You mean the Oddity stuff?
Yeah, and Oddity stuff or whatever you have.
Yeah, we've got a video that that you can put clips up from, and
well, I'm talking about like my radio show because I'm on a very famous. Oh, do you know WFMU?
I'm sorry, I'm not really that familiar with the Japanese radio.
No, WFMU is in New York. It's like one of the most famous stations in America. I'm on that station. I have two shows, and I have one show where I can, at both shows I can play whatever I want, but I've got one show where I can play just totally anything, from new jazz to like weird Bowie stuff, and I could play anything. So if you send me music, I'll play it there.
Well, there's certainly stuff that you can play now because Casino Drive from Pony Canyon just released a remaster of those two albums of our two. Yeah.
When did that go on sale?
That went on sale, I guess, about 6 months ago.
Something like that.
So Casino Drive. It's on Pony Canyon. It's on sale now. What's the name of the record?
Fever Visions.
And you can buy it at your favorite. Okay. And then what else do you got that we could go out and run out and buy now?
There's nothing that you can go out and buy right now. But there will be an announcement
soon.
Pretty soon.
And you're gonna send the music to me, and then let me be the first DJ in the world to play.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Sure.
Promise.
I promise.
Okay. Do you have any last messages for your Japanese audience?
Yes. We have some shows coming up. Kenneth and the Oddities. And we have a tour coming up in April. And we'll be at Shibuya Eggman on April 9th.
Here, let me see that.
Sunday.
Oh! April 9th, Sunday. April 17th at Nagano Livehouse. April 18th, Nagoya, L fits all. April 19th, Kyoto. なんと読むの? Yaso. 4月21, April 21st, Kobe Chicken George. Oh, Chicken George, is that for real?
That's for real, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Great venue.
So, wow. So we're gonna go. Make sure you go to this live show. And that's actually a really nice poster. Okay, and anything else?
No, not for now.
And thank you so much to Mr. Kenneth Andrew of Kenneth Andrew and the Oddities. Kenneth, thank you so much, man.
Mike. It's great to be here.
We're doing like politicians.
I know when to go out, and I know when to stay in and get things done. I catch the paper boy, but things don't really change. I'm standing in the wind.